Loneliness is a growing issue within the UK, not only with older people who have lost family members and live alone, but also the general public in a world where face-to-face interactions are dying out. I'm comedian Stuart Mitchell, and over the coming days I'll be spending time with Louise and our team at Give a Dog a Bone, and I'm really interested to find out exactly what her charity does and how it supports people and how it supports the big agenda of loneliness throughout Scotland. And I'll be taking my own dog Seymour along to see what's going on. I travelled to Shawlands, where Give a Dog a Bone started, to meet Louise. I hope to hear about the origins of the charity and about the work they do for the elderly. Can you tell me just a little bit about, obviously I'm completely new to the charity, I don't know what you do, or maybe a bit how you started and where you are now.
Okay, so the charity is 6 years old, and what we do, it's all about tackling loneliness and social isolation through animals, and we do that in two ways. We've got two very distinct projects. The first project is supporting the over 60s to afford a rescue pet companion. So the easiest way to describe that is if you had a neighbour or a friend who would love a wee pet but she couldn't afford it, she can apply to Give a Dog a Bone for financial support. It's all about helping that person to find a friend but also helping that animal to find a home at the same time, so it's a win-win. So that's project number one. Project number two is this community space project that you see around you. So this was our first community space. This wee space is 2 years old now. We now have another one in Troon and we're about to open a third in Alloa. What we do at these community spaces, again, it's all about encouraging older adults out of their home and back into the communities. So if you think of it as a community space with dogs, so today we've got reflexology on, we've got chair yoga this afternoon, we do group dog walks, we do all sorts of different activities.
Tell me a bit about loneliness. It seems to be that even though we've got these social connections, we are still, a lot of us are lonely, especially in older age.
Yeah, so I think loneliness is rightly now being recognised as an epidemic. You think that because you've got lots of friends and family that that you shouldn't feel lonely, but actually it's just reality is that there's quiet times and there's times that you feel alone, and offering either through either of our projects or offering an animal companion. One gives you somebody who's in the home with you, so it's a reason to get up in the day. If it's a dog, you go out and walk the dog, you talk to everybody when you're out walking, so not only is it good for your mental health, it's good for your physical health too. But if this community space project, we're doing everything we can to encourage people to come out of their homes and back into the community.
I started speaking to some of the locals in the community space to hear more about how the charity helps them and other people.
Now, most of us in here are on our own, and that's what I was saying the other day there. I personally find cooking not a problem, but I don't want to cook for myself. It's like ready-made meals and things like that. Whereas if you've got a family there, you will cook for a family sort of thing.
The thought of having to go out in that sort of weather to the park and that, I love dogs, I do, and I love seeing them in here, but it's not, it's not suitable for me to have a dog just now. It's not fair on the animal, but the dogs are amazing and they get on so well, there's no fights.
It's a bit like me with children. I like other people's, but I like to hand them back at the same time.
I like that with children.
I'm just surprised you're all over 60.
You're a pattern there.
I also happened to bump into Louise's dad, who was visiting from Cornwall. I wanted to hear from him about his thoughts on charity and, in particular, loneliness.
You could come up to my sanctuary. I've been diagnosed with PTSD. But that's through my time in the service. I don't like the crowds. I'd rather stay away from the people. But I find this would be very therapeutic for me because what they've done here, by opening up slowly and bringing you in, letting you meet your own age group, nobody's talking at you. They're talking with you, sort of thing, with a cup of tea and a blower. That to me it's fascinating. And as for the classes, who wouldn't want to do yoga if somebody else is paying for it?
Yeah.
Because if you get a yoga session, I think it's going to be 50 or something, 40 quid anyway. Isn't it anybody's money? What Louise has done, well, she's my daughter. I think she's very, very good at what she does.
Yeah.
You don't want to see an old man in tears, do you?
Not at all. It was an interesting and an emotional day in Shawlands. I thought it would be good to relax by taking part in some yoga. Just like Louise is bending over backwards for others, I felt it was only right I bent over backwards for them. I travelled to Troon to visit Louise's second community space. I wanted to see for myself how it was a different space and how it was helping people in a different part of Scotland. So this is a lot bigger than the...
It is, it's night and day, isn't it?
It is. It's a lot brighter as well, it's nice.
It's a completely different feel here.
For a lot of us, losing a dog is almost as emotional as losing a family member. I spoke to Tina, who has currently been helped by Give a Dog a Bone, for more insight on what they do for people like her.
I'd seen the shop open but never been in. I was having big problems with vet bills because I was separated, so I had to cancel my dog insurance, and it was a vet that recommended that I spoke to Louise, and they have been fantastic. They gave me money because I've got the 2 dogs. They gave me £45 a month. To help towards dog fees, vet fees. Could come in here and get dog food when I want. Lost one of them, wee dogs, just before Christmas, but they still give me £30 for another one that's not well just now, so they've been absolutely fantastic.
So did you get left with the dogs then when you split?
We split up. I wanted my dogs.
Right.
They're 2 toy poodles. One was a rescue, and the wee fella, he was 12. He took ill, went in for his x-ray to see why he was coughing, didn't come out of it. But as I say, I'm around here a lot. I came in to help with the elderly with like iPads and mobile phones if they're having problems, so anything I can give back, it's been great.
What do dogs mean to you? What's your dogs mean?
My dogs in the world. I know, you have me. The world, and if it wasn't for the help here, I probably wouldn't have managed.
I wanted to speak with Wendy to see what it was like working with Louise and see first of all how she got involved in Give a Dog a Bone.
I've followed the charity on Facebook for quite a while, and I'd always really liked what they did. And I'd recently had to give up work because I've been quite unwell, so I didn't work for about 2 years, and then I saw there was a vacancy with Give a Dog a Bone, so I applied for it. And when I got invited to the interview, I was asked to bring a dog along to my interview, and I kind of thought then, if I don't get this job, I'm going to be really upset.
That's a first, isn't it? Bring a dog.
Absolutely, bring your dog to an interview.
Good. Excellent. Did they interview the dog?
I think they kind of tested her out though. She came in and got a good sniff about and got to a feel for what it was like in the place, so yeah, it was good. Tara came to my interview with me. So.
Excellent. So what did you used to do yourself before you got involved?
I've worked for a couple of different charities in the past, and then I was quite unwell for a while and I actually lost my hearing, so I'm deaf now and I can only hear on one side with a cochlear implant, which makes a lot of roles very challenging. But Louise, who runs Give a Dog a Bone, has been amazingly understanding, and it's been a fantastic opportunity for me.
So do you want to tell us a bit more about the dog walk?
Yeah, we do a group dog walk every Friday from this space here in Troon at 1 o'clock, and everybody's welcome to come along to that, either with or without a dog. It's a really popular one for us, well, in the nicer weather it is. Obviously the weather can be a bit changeable. On good days we get a good variety of people coming along. Some people come without a dog and they'll maybe walk one of my dogs because I've got 2 dogs I bring to work. We also get a mix of people that come with puppies sometimes to help get them socialised, which is really nice for us when that happens.
And I imagine they get a lot more dogs in Troon because a lot of people have got dogs, a lot more dog owners in Glasgow, for example.
Yeah, we the dog walking. I mean, the dog walk we do dog walk every second week in the
Okay.
Glasgow space, which is also really popular. But there are more dogs come along to the Troon one. I think just because Troon Beach is a really popular place for people to come and walk anyway, and we leave from the community space and walk down along the shorefront, and we take the dogs onto the beach on nicer days when the beach is quiet. So that goes well.
Do you know, I was invited to take part in the community dog walk in Troon not too long ago with my own dog, Seymour, and God, little did I think we were then going to be in the middle of an epidemic. As everybody knows, the coronavirus has brought the whole country down to a standstill, as you can hear my dog Seymour snoring in the background there, and it's really strange. It got me thinking in terms of, I mean, this is unprecedented in terms of what's going on in the country, and it got me thinking about Louise and the charity and their future really. And although money has been released from the Chancellor to charities, how much of that slice of the funding is Louise actually going to get? And I've also been thinking about how this whole pandemic's going to affect loneliness really, and it's only going to get worse before it gets better. And I guess thinking about all the people I met at the charity as well that were at the loneliness classes and patting the dogs and wondering how they're all getting on and how they're all coping with this. And I guess you look at loneliness yourself, because I mean I've got Seymour, and if it wasn't for him, I mean I would be bored to tears. And these people, that's every day is like that for them. It's not just during an epidemic, it's every day. Sometimes their animals are the only thing they've got, really. And I think, God, I think Louise's work is more important than it's ever been, really, in terms of during these tough times. But while Louise was hard at work trying to sort out the charity and make sure all our volunteer staff and most importantly our service users were all okay during this, I managed to speak to a woman called Christina, and she's doing a thesis at Aberdeen University, and that's all around therapy animals and interacting with elderly people in care homes. And I was hoping that she could give me a real insight in terms of what life must be like for elderly people, not only in general but also times like this during the coronavirus. And thankfully she was able to give me some time in order to chat some things through. How do you think dogs help elderly people that have dementia, specifically dogs?
So people who live in care homes, they are quite a lot socially isolated. Sometimes they don't have any relatives left. There's no one to visit them, so they can get a visit from these therapists. They can get to touch them. They can get to play with them sometimes. Then there are lots of people who actually lost their pets. Many of the care homes in Scotland, with very, very few exceptions, they don't allow people to move with their pets. So they'll have to either rehome their pets or leave them with families or even put them to sleep. So they get to engage again with their pets because sometimes they really miss them a lot. And it's quite amazing that even though they forget the names of their own children, sometimes they still remember the name of their pets.
And in terms of the research that you've been doing, I guess the situation we're in just now, where we're all under lockdown, really no one's been through that before, any generations. How do you think that's going to affect elderly people?
So in a way, isolating them even more is like saving their lives. But on the other hand, I don't know how this further social isolation, in which they live anyway because they live in these care homes, might have very, very deep effects in a long term. With no visits, could of course deepen their depression. Depression can have huge impact on dementia. They can get much more confused. All their symptoms can get even worse.
How would you say not being able to see an animal is going to affect elderly people at this stage?
The effects can go almost like an underlying thing. So their well-being will be deeply affected because, like I've said, some of these people don't get any other visits. So that's the only visit they get, and not getting that at all will definitely um, affect their well-being. For us, it's very easy. At one point, I was thinking, how can I do some sort of animal-assisted therapy using the computer and just give them a call and so on. But unfortunately, they don't have any technological means. So these people are completely isolated from the rest.
And you know, after working so hard over the last few weeks, Louise managed to also find some time to chat to me regarding how she was getting on personally, how her dad was getting on, and most importantly, how the charity was getting on. So hi Louise.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. More importantly, how are you? It's certainly interesting times, isn't it?
So it's a kind of funny time because obviously the people that we have helped are sorted, but rescues aren't really operating at the moment, so people can't really adopt at the moment. You know, again, it's just it's a really weird time, but we're still helping people with their monthly support and, you know, giving them the financial contribution to buy their pet food or pay for their insurance, etc. But God, I mean, if you're on your own and you've got a pet, it is a real lifeline at the moment, even more than before, because you can't just go out and go for a coffee with somebody, you know, it completely changed. But we're fine, we're positive, we're here, we're still standing, and I'm confident that we're going to be fine at the other side as well.
In terms of the actual people you support, how are they all getting on?
I think very difficult. It's difficult for you and I, never mind potentially somebody who's self-isolating alone at home. It's very difficult times. So we are changing what we're doing and keeping in touch with our service users. We're adapting because we are working from home now, and obviously we can't have that physical contact, but we're trying our best to keep in touch with folks. So yeah, it is difficult for them.
Since the last time we spoke with the new shop opening, in terms of what were you focusing on since then up until this all really occurred?
We've launched a new project and it's called the Sunshine Project. So we're calling service users once a week, but we're also doing sunshine packs. So in these packs, you'll typically have maybe 3 or 4 items that are sent out to the service user, and it's a complete surprise. So there'll be a card from us, there'll be a letter from a child just saying, hello, my name is Lucy and I'm 11, and just something to make them feel good about themselves and connected to the world again.
And I think it's like everything, isn't it? Things will maybe get worse with the loneliness before they get better. It's just the way everything's going in terms of, but we're getting there in terms of maybe the same lockdown again, and then we'll start relaxing it a little bit.
What this situation has shown a lot more of us is what loneliness actually is, you know, because we're not able to go out and socialise the way that we used to be, and there's a lot of younger adults at home alone at the moment as well. So I think it will give people an insight as to what loneliness actually means and what it means for older adults, and hopefully, you know, the amount of people that have said to me, your charity will be so needed at the end of this, and it really will be, because people will be just so glad to get the companionship again.
God, this journey is certainly taking a wild direction. I think when we started this, no one ever expected us to be in the middle of a lockdown, and how we would cope with that personally, and how Louise would cope with that, and how Seymour would cope with that, sleeping away during the whole lockdown. That's all he's done, is just slept his way through the last few weeks. But on a serious note, hopefully I'll be able to pop into the charity shop, give a dog a bone in the future, and see how everyone's getting on, and hopefully the charity survives. I'm sure it will be, because Louise has got such a great drive and determination, and that's clear for everyone to see. But I think what's crucial is the work that charities like Louise's does, in terms of giving that hope to elderly people that are suffering loneliness with a companion. And I think the main positive to come out of all this lockdown is that maybe we're all going to think about loneliness, because these guys have had to deal with loneliness for a long time. We've only had to deal with it for a few weeks, and it's already impacted us, so we need to be more positive, more kind, and support those in the future that suffer loneliness.